Well, that was The Last of Us. I don't know why I was doing that. I guess I'll do a review here and just talk for a few minutes. I'll try and not do any spoiler stuff. Just in case if you haven't bought this game and, want to keep it as spoiler free as possible, there may be a spoiler section right at the end of the video, but I'll point that out. And I'll try and generalize and gist. Up until then, I'll maybe mention a few things that I like and dislike that would be spoiler related. But yeah, I guess overall, if I had to give this a out of 10, I would probably give it a solid 7, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, because most people look at a game like a 7 and think it's terrible. But with my marking system with out of 10s, not that I do them a lot because I like to talk about what I liked and what I disliked, because that's sort of factual and opinionated in a way. But obviously a 5, for an example, is a mediocre game. Still fun, still kind of but you can get some enjoyment out of it. So for this, a 7, above average, and it's a good above average game. Don't see the hate for it. Do not see the hate for this game. Again, on the flip side, I also didn't see the 10 out of 10 material. But yeah, some people giving this like 2s and 3s out of 10s or whatever. Do not listen to them. Those are people who potentially dislike things that might happen in the game that, from the first to the second, I would maybe understand that, but to review a game poorly based on that, that's a little unfair. So, like I say, I give this a solid 7. If they changed one thing, okay, maybe 2 things gameplay-wise, I would definitely give it a solid 7.5. I probably wouldn't be able to push it to that 8 mark, where 8 is sort of a go out and buy. I suppose if you're a massive Last of Us fan, you'd have bought this anyway, and you'd have enjoyed it how you have. But if there's anyone who's still sort of on the fence if they should be buying this, I would obviously say if you've played the first Last of Us and you loved, absolutely adored that game, then this is the game for you if you still haven't bought it yet. As it is a very story-heavy game. It has gameplay, obviously, but it is more over a story game. And in terms of story, what it does well. I personally feel the characters could have been done so much better. The only thing I will say is, which isn't spoiler related, is you play as 2 characters, Ellie and Abby. That may be spoilers, but it's bloody half of the game you play as a. So yeah, you play half of the game as Ellie and the other half as another character. So the characters that are introduced in Ellie's half of the story for about, because I beat this in 20.5 hours, so let's just say 20 hours. So for about 10 hours of this game, give or take 9 to 10, you play as Ellie, and the other half you play as Abby, the new character, and then, So you've got about 10 hours per character, which is fine. There are shorter games that do pretty good stories in that amount of time, in about 10 hours. But what I feel this game's trying to do in its 20-hour, 10-hour split, characters, it doesn't do well enough for me, because it seems like they either try and cram in so much information that it feels like most of it is lost on the way, or they don't have enough character development for me that allows me to either care or want a willingness to believe that these people exist, that these people have their friendships and loves with one another, with their going through thick and thin. Because again, at the end, I will spoil at least one thing that I don't like. But again, I'll leave that for now. So like I say, story-wise, overall, it's just very. It's very empty for me. There's not enough character development that's meaningful. There's one character at one point who reveals some information, and from that point forwards, you never see that character ever again. You don't. So to introduce a character for Ellie and then have them completely disappear from the game like 5 hours in, you've essentially got half of Ellie's story with a character that you're supposed to be engrossed with because of what's going on. But then, like I say, you do not see them for the rest of the game. So that sort of character development and information that's eventually revealed is the only character development that's done with this person. And I feel like if that's supposed to hit home and be this big thing, it's not enough for me. It's not enough. I like subtlety in characters. I like people who can do right and wrong but still be able to live with the decisions they've made. But it seems like this one character, and especially subsequently another character, they mostly exist just because of what happens. And like I say, most of this will make sense once I spoil it at the end of this review, but I mean, yeah, overall story is just very empty for me. That's all I can say. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because like I say, what it does well. But if you try and pick out key points of information of character development, because again, this is supposed to be this big narrative story, most of it is lost for me. So I personally won't be able to fully recommend this game for people who are interested in its story. Like I say, it's empty for me. But again, if you love The Last of Us 1, this game will be right at home for you. Gameplay, it's more over the same as the first game, so stealth-based gameplay with third-person shooting, providing you get caught, and looting and crafting and that kind of stuff. Again, if you're good at shooters or good at stealth-based games, the game gets much easier, which I can't fault it for, because that's just, you know, if you're good at the type of game that it is. So obviously if you stealth a lot of people, you will always have max ammo and max crafting materials, like I mostly was 99% of the time. Which again, I'm not going to mark it down for that, that's just if you're good at particular games. I will say, however, it does have increased enemy variety over the first game, which just had humans, infected, and clickers, and bloaters, but I mean they only turned up as a boss and 3 of them at the end of the game. So you pretty much have 3 enemy type in the first game. This game, however, you have humans, obviously, dogs, which they've introduced, so if you stealth someone and you're relatively close to a dog, it will sniff out the scent of blood and it will trail you. I mean, if you run far away, and if you run far enough away, it will lose your scent eventually. So I kind of like the dog aspect, but sometimes the dogs are a little just because you now have grass that you can hide in, like Assassin's Creed, which is a good mechanic. But, you know, it's just one of those scenarios of you can kind of get caught with your pants around your ankles because, you know, you're trying to fight stuff over there and the dog comes running around and you don't see it coming because obviously the grass. So again, I can't fault the game for that. It's just, you know, it caught me once or twice. And then in terms of the infected, there's obviously infected, clickers. The bloater's back again, but it's just a boss fight and he turns up once more, or whatever. So yeah, infected, clickers. You now have shamblers, which are basically the baby version of the bloaters, which they spit stuff at you, and if you get close enough, they emit a toxic gas. So you can't melee them, so you have to kind of think, do I stealth, do I just fight? And then the other one is you get this silent infected who's very fast and quiet. So you could be in a room, not know they're there because you can't detect them, and then one could just run out at you and start punching you. So this game does have more enemy variety, so I do like that. Sequels should always have, you know, more enemy variety, and this does do that. And in terms of the gameplay as well, like I say, you have grass that you can hide in now, so you can do a little bit more stealth-based stuff instead of just hiding behind like cars and doors and stuff. The other thing gameplay-wise it has is human enemies will call each other by name, which I guess is a nice little tidbit of information. It doesn't make or break the game for me, it kind of means, you know, it's a little more alive and real and robust. The only thing I don't like about the gameplay side of things is 2 things. One, if you're in a gunfight with people and you aim your gun at someone, they will never ever peek you They never will. I've tested this, and I held my gun on someone's position for a solid minute, and they never peeked me once, and as soon as I let go of the aim button, they peeked me. So, I suppose if anyone at Naughty Dog ever watches this review, the two important things I want changing is, one, please slightly change that AI so that they still peek you. I don't care if it's a quick peek, because for all they know, you was aiming at them. Understandable, they duck. But a couple seconds later, they should maybe peek you again. If they see you, they duck really quickly. But then after a good solid minute, they should think, the AI should believe that, okay, they've gone, they're not aiming at me anymore, potentially I don't see them, I'll try and move round and outflank them. Instead of, you know, me holding my gun and they always know I'm there. The other thing gameplay-wise I will say I would like changing as well is the AI not detecting that I've stealth killed their friend. Because I've had it on many occasions where I've stealth killed someone, and like in Batman Arkham Asylum where you stealth take down a goon and they've got those shock collars on them, when their heartbeat rises and then lowers, it sends off the Joker's laugh. Thanks, Ellie. But obviously the Joker's laugh goes off and enemies know, oh no, someone's been taken down, let's go check it out. That completely makes sense. But in this game, two people can be talking with one another, walk off, not even know anything's happening. I then take out, say, David for an example. David goes down, and then, say, Rebecca will immediately go, David, are you there? Where's David? That's strange, I'll go check it out. It's a little too quick in them thinking that someone's been a little too quiet. If it's coded in a way where you take someone out mid-conversation, I will raise my hands and say congratulations for coding that, because that's a little detail that I would like. But again, most of the time it's someone's all the way in the next bloody state over, I kill someone here without anyone noticing, and that sodding person will then go, I wonder how Simon's been. He hasn't talked to me in about 5 minutes. That would make sense. But no, it's someone over there, oblivious to what's going on, take this person out. I haven't heard of this person in like 2 seconds. Let me go check them out. Oh no, they're dead. That's the other thing that I would like changing, is the enemy detection rate for thinking someone's been a little too quiet. I would like that changed to be a little longer. A good minute would be nice, not 2 seconds. But that's like my only real gripe about the game, is the AI is a little too on the ball, rather than... Because again, if they're trying to make these characters feel alive and real, I completely understand if they're thinking, Simon's been quiet for a good solid minute. Why is that? I'll go check out. That makes sense. But when it's, like say, like 2 seconds after death, it's a little too unrealistic in a way. But otherwise, gameplay, it's as solid as the first, and with that increased enemy variety, it allows you to think slightly differently. But again, providing you're good at the stealth and you have max items, you'll usually just gun-ho your way through most scenarios towards the end of the game. Yeah, so that's pretty much my review overall of the game without going into spoilers. Like I say, if you love the first game, you still haven't bought it, I can definitely recommend this, you'll enjoy it. Do not listen to the 2 out of 3 or 2 or 3 out of 10 reviews. They're not accurate to anywhere close to this game. This game is closer to a 10 out of 10 of what the reviews have been giving it, but I would completely disagree that this is the game of the generation or it's a masterpiece, for me personally, from what I've listed. But like I say, what it does well overall, and that's why I have to give it an above average score of that 7. Again, I don't like scores, but that 7 out of 10 is what I would give it, and then I would give it that 7.5 if they slightly change that AI of what I've just mentioned. Yeah, that's pretty much my review overall. Yeah. My next brand new game what's coming out will be... I do not know what. Yeah, so I hope my review has been relatively thorough in a way. I won't really go into that spoiler thing, there's no real point, plus I'm up to 15 minutes now, 15 minutes is enough for a review. But I suppose if you want to see what I actually think whilst I'm playing it, you can watch my videos as they will be up on YouTube at this point. Obviously on this channel you can click a link in the description, I suppose, where I'll put the playlist. But yeah, like I say, overall, good game. I would definitely recommend it if people are on the fence, maybe a little down the line when it's slightly cheaper. Definitely the £35 marks I can see this going for if you're interested. If you're like the other people and you just see the 2 out of 3s, then just wait till it's like £10 or whatever. But £35 I can definitely recommend this game, or $35 wherever you are in the world. But yeah, like I say, overall, good game. I've enjoyed it. I would definitely play it again sometime in the future. Not sometime very quickly, soon in the future. But yeah, I can definitely recommend this game to those who are interested. So without further ado, I'll see you in the next one. I don't know what that will be. But like I say, I hope my review has been relatively thorough in my opinions on what I think. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Hurrah.